Hey there, Parker Reed here, and welcome to PR Media, your home for everything movies and music through my eyes. And today is not a normal type of video. Usually my content is catered towards more people who regularly buy 4K Blu-rays or watch that type of content. And today's video is geared more towards people who are maybe getting into 4K Blu-rays for the first time and looking for some titles to pick up. Not all 4K Blu-rays are created the same. Some have better picture quality, audio quality, or sometimes the transfer is just not mixed from an actual 4K source. So in this video, I'm going to detail 10 titles for you that you should start your collection with, and they're from all different types of genres, so I think it's going to be a little bit for everybody. So I'm going to list those 10 titles for you right now. The first title on this list is an animated title, and I'm usually not a huge fan of those, but if you're into those kind of films, we have Toy Story 4, and I would say you should watch the first three because I prefer those, but the picture quality on Toy Story 4 is the best out of all four films, and I think it's going to be a great family film for you to put in your collection to start out. Next up is my personal favorite Star Wars film, and one of the best looking in the entire saga. That is Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. This is a great looking film from the 1980s. It has a very filmic look, so it's not going to look pristine. There is a good amount of grain on here, but you're going to have to get used to that in the 4K format because the grain structures on these types of films are usually pretty deep. But this is a classic film, the best one in the entire saga, in my opinion, and it's one you should add to your collection. A genre of movies that actually looks pretty great on the 4K format is black and white. And that's because of the HDR and able to balance those black levels and things start to pop a little bit more. And my favorite black and white movie on 4K Blu-ray is the classic film Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock. And it's definitely one you should check out if you're into like the horror genre or the suspense genre. And this movie is getting a little bit harder to find, especially the steelbook. So pick it up while you can. It's a great one to start off with. And with this next entry in this list, I'm cheating a little bit because it is 3 films in one. That is the Lord of the Rings trilogy, some of the most epic fantasy movies ever made. And even though there are 3 separate titles in this collection, you can't buy them individually, so I'm going to add it as one entry on this list. And these movies look really great. Sometimes the CGI on here is a little bit dated, but you're going to find with a lot of 4K movies that the CGI is going to be a little bit dated on older films because you'd have to redo it completely for a 4K release, and sometimes they just can't afford that. So pick up the Lord of the Rings and look past some of the CGI, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. Next up on this list of 10 movies to start off your 4K collection with is a personal favorite film of mine, and one of the best looking superhero movies ever made. That is Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. This movie should have won Best Cinematography at the Oscars. I'm going to go to my grave saying that. It's a great looking and sounding movie, and an entry on this list I think would look great in your collection to start off with. Next up on this list is a classic film and a movie that started the whole entire blockbuster genre. That is Jaws. This is a very true to the source film. It's very grainy, but it's very well shot, and the cinematography on here is spectacular, and it's some of the best water scenes ever. It's really hard to make water look realistic a lot of the times in the movies, but this is sparkling, and the HDR here is well played. It really adds to the suspense, so you should pick up Jaws if you're starting a 4K Blu-ray collection. Next up on this list is a film that's been talked about a lot recently in the 4K community. That is the original 1978 Halloween, and this isn't the transfer I would recommend. I would definitely recommend the Scream Factory transfer that came out a couple weeks ago, but this is the original release back in 2018 for the 40th anniversary, and no matter what version of this you pick up, you're going to enjoy it because it's a great looking transfer, and it's one of the best horror movies ever made. And we've got to have a Christopher Nolan movie on this list, so I'm putting The Dark Knight. This is a fantastic movie. It was actually shot in 8K and downscaled to 4K, and this has some IMAX scenes that were put onto the disc, and that doesn't happen a lot. So pick up The Dark Knight, even though it'll probably get an 8K release in like 5 years, but enjoy the 4K until then. A lot of the times when you're talking about 4K Blu-rays, you're looking for those reference quality discs, a movie you could put into your system and show someone how great 4K can look. And for me, that is Blade Runner 2049. It's the first movie I watched on 4K on my own setup, and it's still one of my favorites that I return to almost every year. Phenomenal looking sci-fi from Denis Villeneuve, and one you should definitely pick out. I mean, it's Ryan Gosling. I don't have to say anymore. Last up on this list of 10 movies you should start your 4K Blu-ray collection with is, of course, you gotta have a Marvel movie. It's been the most popular genre and the most popular film franchise for the past decade. That's Avengers Infinity War, one of my favorites in the entire series. Some fantastic looking CGI. If you want to see how good CGI will look in the 4K format, look no further than Avengers Infinity War. It should definitely make its way into your 4K collection at some point, so you might as well start with it. There you have it. Those are 10 movies you should start your 4K Blu-ray collection with, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw here, you can check us out on Facebook or Instagram and like, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. My name is Parker Reed. You've been watching PR Media. Keep supporting physical media, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.